right, now we're being seen and heard around the world on our live video stream, which is up to you at talk973.com, talk1041.com, or weeb990.com. Top middle of the page is where the link's located on your mobile device. You fire up YouTube and put Mornings with the LeaderMan on the search. If you're on your mobile device just needing an audio stream, that's pretty easy too. You go to your Play Store, get a streaming app such as TuneIn, iTunes, or Streama, and from there you put WEEB in the search, and we will appear at the top of your results. If you're on your mobile device and get to our website, or your hard computer, get to our website at weeb990.com. The upper right-hand corner is where you'll find another icon that says On the Air, Listen Live. Click it once, and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area, mostly sunny today, high of 92. Tonight, clear and 71. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 94. And it's going to be muggy, my friends. The weekend's going to be a soaker as far as sweat goes. No precipitation in the forecast. Clear Saturday night and 70. Sunday, muggy and 95. Monday, 95, 94. Tuesday, next chance for some rain will be Wednesday with the remnants of Depression number 9, as they call it right now. All right, right now around the Sand Hills, winds are southwest at 2, gusting southwest at 2. Pressure is 2994. Solar radiation 29 watts per square meter. Dew point 70, humidity 91%. It is foggy and 74 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 7:37, 37 past the hour, and the main thing that has changed since yesterday is that 10 brave Marines and two soldiers and one Air Force individual gave their lives in the service of their country. Kind of needlessly giving it up when it could have been a whole lot better planned, as we all know by now. But do you think much of this plan, Colonel?
I don't think anything of it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You go ahead. I'm done.
All right, well, we'll see what day 2 brings on this, because more terrorist attacks have been threatened, and whether or not they come to fruition, time will tell. But the odds are something will come. They just can't help themselves. All right, this the Colonel may find interesting. We all know the FDA approval of the Pfizer COVID vaccine is a bold, treacherous gaslighting campaign involving media lies, fake science, and criminal conduct at the FDA itself. Issuing 2 letters on Monday, the FDA actually extended the EUA, that's the experimental approval for the Pfizer vaccine, while granting approval to a different vaccine called Comirnaty, which does not exist in the marketplace and isn't even in production. Through carefully crafted weasel words, the FDA has attempted to conflate the 2 vaccines to try to gaslight America into thinking that Pfizer COVID vaccine has full approval, which it doesn't, all while making the Pfizer still as legal immunity under the EAU for all the inquiries and deaths caused by the vaccine. Translation, they still got the protection of immunity if anything goes wrong with the vaccine. The media has played along, fundamentally reporting that Pfizer vaccine is now has full approval, even though no such thing actually occurred. Then again, this entire pandemic has been nothing but a fraud from the very start, so I guess it's no surprise that the fraud remains firmly in place at the highest levels of the criminally run FDA, which functions as nothing more than the monopoly marketing enforcers for Big Pharma. The result of all this is that Big Pharma, big media, and big tech are gaslighting Americans like Never before, faking like the Pfizer mRNA vaccine has been fully approved by the FDA and using that as an excuse to demand full vaccine compliance. But it isn't even a vaccine. Even the CDC's own director, Walensky, admits the vaccine, quote unquote, doesn't halt transmission and doesn't prevent infections. It merely reduces symptoms, which allows infected people to become super spreaders because they appear to be asymptomatic while they actually carry a far higher viral load. What the vaccine does accomplish, however, is mass death of the vaccinated via blood clots, autoimmune disorder, and more. A website called the COVID Blog is documenting many of these shocking, disturbing deaths, including a recent case of a woman whose skin began to rot off her face after she took the COVID shot. So a little something to put in coffee there this morning.
Yeah, I have to do some more reading on that letter there. I had heard, like everybody else, that this thing is now approved. I couldn't imagine how they could approve it because they haven't met any of their guidelines, any of their blind studies, etc. They've met none of those requirements, and yet they were trying to approve it. So what this letter is saying is just a matter of having extended the emergency use,
right,
and not actual.
It was a different drug that was approved at the same time.
A different drug that doesn't even exist.
Right, it's not in manufacturing.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody's developing a drug, doesn't exist. It's not in production. That was okay. So yeah, they've managed to confuse the issue.
Exactly.
And now people are being mandated to take this thing or lose their jobs, and it is not, according to this letter. I haven't read it. I'm going to go read it here afterwards. But so you're being mandated to take a shot that is not approved by the FDA. That's the bottom line. So there you go. All right. Well, yeah. That's this is just everything. This whole thing is just it's just makes my mind explode here with all this stuff that's going on. I think the bottom line is that the communists in our government and the swamp are they see the handwriting on the wall come 2022, and they are pressing as hard as they can to destroy everything they can before they lose the House and or the Senate. That's what they're doing.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job of it.
Yes, they are. They're just doing everything they can to throw as much against the wall to see what sticks. And our swamp monsters, I don't see too many of them standing up to it. So,
one of my biggest fears with this vaccine event is that actually it's not a vaccine, it's more of a
well, they changed the definition. They changed the definition of vaccine to make the shot fit the definition. About a year ago, that I read that specifically, and you could see it change on the CD. Well, you could see it change in medical journals, et cetera. Hey, here's the definition of a vaccine, and if you look at that definition, if you can find the definition from, say, 2 or 3 years ago, and see what the definition of a vaccine is now, they are different. I've done that. They're different. And they changed it. They changed the wording to get this COVID shot. I don't want to call it a vaccine. I just call it a shot or the jab or the stick, whatever you want to call it.
As a COVID mRNA shot.
Yeah, and that's precisely it. The definition was changed so that this shot would fall under the definition of a vaccine, but it does not do what an old definition of vaccine said it would do. So, and then this letter that you just read, again, I have to get that reference before I leave. That well, they're supposed to do blind studies. You have a control group, etc. And I've read several times during that these studies for these various vaccines, the control group never existed, or if it did exist, they went ahead and gave them the shot. So there is no control group long term to make any determination on the effectiveness of this shot. So yeah, this thing is, I don't understand it. I don't understand why people want to do this.
I don't either, Colonel, but here we are. All right, let's lighten things up a bit with the best of the late night jokes from last night, Eunuch Boys, and see if they can put a smile on the Colonel's face.
Netflix just released a documentary about legendary painter Bob Ross that claims to show the dark side of his life and legacy. It's called Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed. Really, Netflix? Do we really need this? I mean, what's next? Betty White, secret serial killer.
Police in multiple counties are investigating thefts at a grocery store because someone is stealing 3-foot-tall Snoop Dogg bobbleheads.
When reached for a comment, Snoop said, "Stop robbing my bobble, baby Bubba."
The makers of Mountain Dew have announced they will release a limited edition Flamin' Hot Cheeto flavored soda, and the FDA is already scrambling to approve a vaccine for it. A zoo in Belgium recently banned a woman because she's having a self-described affair with a chimpanzee, which is negatively affecting his relationship with other apes. And just a guess here, hers with other humans?
All right. Well, this is something our school board could appreciate. Let's leave it that way. A Texas father is going viral after stripping down to just his swimsuit during a school board meeting to show his support for mask mandates in school. Here's the interaction between James Ackers and school board president Barbara Stroud.
I just decided that I'm going to not just talk about it, but I'm going to walk the walk. At work, they make me wear this jacket. I hate it. They make me wear this shirt and tie. I hate it. It's simple protocol, people. We follow certain rules for a very good reason.
Mr. Akers, I believe you're a swimmer, but if you would mind putting your pants back on for a comment, that would be appreciated.
A mother of 4 in Dallas quit her job, her full-time job, because now she's making $1,000 a week dumpster diving. She mostly looks for merchandise that was tossed from stores and then just resells it.
Look at all of the bags. What we got? We got some candles. What else we got? Ooh, we got some lotion. We got some hand wash. We got nice candle. Nice sad. With all that. And then 3 candles.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. People have been doing that for years. It's called a junkyard.
A Philly restaurant owner survived after an employee stabbed him through the neck during a crazy attack, all caught on camera. Here's Stephen Milan and one of his employees who witnessed the stabbing talking about what happened.
At first, I didn't even know he had a knife in his neck, and neither did he.
It was a vibration like I was being electrocuted, like I touched a live wire. My son turned to me and he said, "Dad, you have a knife in your neck." This is a hell of a way to get a vacation.
Knife in your neck.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
And imagine going down the roads of California in your car with your grandmother, and all of a sudden you look up from your car and see not a bird, not a plane, but a plane making an emergency landing and taking out your car.
I heard a loud crash, and I thought we had been hit by a semi.
And my grandma yelled at me and said, "Close your eyes and your mouth and get out of the car." There was water and glass all over the car.
And I see an airplane without a right wing, and I'm looking at the car going, it's in my back seats.
All right, well, I guess the the pilot there didn't follow his emergency procedure. Sounds like he landed with the traffic. My understanding is you land against the traffic into the oncoming lane so people can see you and get off of the road and allow you to land.
Mm-hmm. No sneaking up from behind.
No, it's very bad when you do it that way.
I was watching air disasters last night on the Smithsonian Channel, and these are all true plane crashes. Some of them, most of them fatal, some of them with survivors. But this one, Learjet, crashed with no survivors down in Mexico City. And the bottom line of it all, when it got down through the investigation, was that both pilots had fake pilot licenses.
Oh dear.
They'd gone through, and they had been in business for, one of them had like 20 years in it. Another one had close to 30. And you had the fake licenses, and that's where the bad judgment came in that cost all the passengers their lives. Because simply in this case, it was because they didn't leave enough space between them and the jet in front of them, which creates jet wash.
Right. Yeah.
And they flipped them over and they went out of control.
Yeah. There's busy airports. You can watch the aircraft landing one after the other, but yeah, they have to have a certain amount of distance between them, otherwise you'll flip or have some kind of bad reaction to the prop wash, jet wash, whatever.
Yeah. And a lot of it's the wing extensions that cause a lot of it. Let's see.
Well, yeah, when a plane is like, you not only have prop wash or engine exhaust, but on the end of the wings, you actually get a kind of a rolling effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's why some of those airplanes have the little piece that tips up or tips down on the end of the wing to break that up. Yeah.
And that also gives them better gas mileage somehow.
Yeah, there's a variety of things that it does for the aircraft.
There's been so much drama about the new host of Jeopardy. Here's a couple of the candidates who believe it should be them, or at least one of them.
This digital assistant should be the permanent host of Jeopardy. Who is Alexa?
Sorry, wrong again, Alexa. This is Siri, and I should be the new permanent host.
I could beat you out as host in a New York Minute.
New York Minute is a 2004 American comedy film starring Mary-Kate Olsen, Ashley Olsen, while Andy Richter, and Bob Saget are featured in supporting roles.
See, you couldn't host Jeopardy because you have attention deficit disorder.
Attention deficit disorder is a mental, behavioral, and neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by inattention, hyperfixation, and impulsivity.
You've made my case.
One option is Case Sports Center, about 4 miles to your west. Is that the one you're looking for?
Scratch that. If I have to deal with answers like that, I don't think I want to be host of Jeopardy anymore. Alexa out.
I don't know if you remember it when Ken Jennings, who won a ton of money in a lot of episodes on Jeopardy.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, he one of the episodes he played Watson, the computer, and he lost. But one thing they didn't do in that episode was, a human being, from the time they hear the question, they got to have enough time to press that button. Now, it's only a fraction of a second, but it's a measurable amount of time. And Watson didn't have to press a button. So they should have measured that time that would take a human to press the button and add that to Watson's response time, and it might have been a fair fight. But they didn't, and Watson, the speed of light, could chime in instantly and jump ahead of your button. So that's why Ken lost, at least in my opinion.
Well, if he was coming in second and never had an opportunity to answer the questions, you don't know whether he had all the right answers.
Right. It just would have been fair.
Well, yeah, okay. people against machines. So,
Okay, we covered the new headline news. Now it's time to cover the not headline news.
This is not headline news. Amazon will soon be opening a department store. A store full of stuff you can only get from Amazon. Wait, isn't that Barnes & Noble? Rod Stewart was spotted filming a music video in Central Park. It was embarrassing how many young people kept saying, "Big fan of yours, Betty White." Cruella 2 is in the works. If you didn't see the original, you should really check out Joker. It's the same movie. The trailer for Matrix 4 dropped at CinemaCon. Most of the movie will be spent explaining why the rest of the cast looks 18 years older, but Keanu Reeves hasn't aged at all. TikTok has banned the milk crate challenge, yet moms can still dance as much as they want? Something's not right there. And yesterday was National Toilet Paper Day. And if you didn't take home several rolls from your company storage closet, you're not observing it right. This is not headline news.
yeah, I finally looked at a video of that milk crate thing. Yeah, you clowns got milk crates piled at least 6 or 7 feet high, and gets up to the top and then starts wobbling. I thought he was.
They're not interlocked at all. So.
Well, they're just they're just set on top of each other, and they have a little recess there so they don't slide sideways, etc. But still, you get up on top of a 6-7 foot stack of milk crates, and it's not very stable. And this guy did a header off of the thing.
Did you see the big fat guy fall?
Well, he was a big fat guy. I'm assuming it was the same guy.
Yeah, okay.
You know. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, what a.
And you wonder why the emergency room stays so full. Because we're out there tearing ourselves up so bad.
Yeah, so parents, if you start missing all your milk crates and see them stacked in your backyard, you might want to get out there.
Let's see. The story about the guy suing the... well, let me hang on to that. I'm going to do this. Things we need to know today so we don't sound stupid. We hear that MSNBC is paying Rachel Maddow $30 million to keep her job. Why didn't they offer 10 and see if she leaves?
To get to get less than 1 million people to tune in, huh?
Yeah. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano is making noise like it may be about to erupt again. Yeah, there are over 50 active volcanoes amongst the 1,700 that are out there. And they cause about 99.999% of all the greenhouse gases. So all this other crap they want to do will make no dent whatsoever in global warming, because until you can cap a volcano, you're wasting your time. The Great American Country Channel, acquired from Discovery for $90 million, is becoming the GAC family effective September 27th. When Modern Family's Eric Stonestreet announced that his engagement on social media, most of the responses were positive, but there were those who asked, how could someone so old be engaged to someone so young? He's 49, she's 42. So he photoshopped a photo that seriously aged her face and said, there, I fixed it for everybody. Maria Osmond's going to be releasing her first album in 5 years. Qantas Airlines has posted a whopping $1.7 billion loss. And because of the wildfire smoke, California had the worst air quality in the world on Wednesday. And get this, Scott Peterson, who was convicted of killing his pregnant wife back in 2002, is one step closer to getting a new trial. All right, we got a round table coming your way next hour. Stick around. It's 8 o'clock.
Good morning, everyone. We made it to a Friday and starting off in the low to mid 70s this morning. This afternoon, expect plenty of sunshine. That mostly sunny sky will heat temperatures right up. Our highs today mainly in the low to mid 90s. Mostly clear sky this evening and overnight tonight. Perfect for football Friday night plans. We'll be back in the upper 60s and low 70s Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, another mostly sunny sky with highs mainly in the mid 90s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Huge crowds gathering yet again outside the Kabul airport. People so desperate to escape the Taliban that they're putting their lives at risk. Following yesterday's twin suicide bombings that killed more than 100 people, including 13 U.S. service members. The BBC's Jill McGivering.
Footage posted online shows many hundreds of people packed closely together, forming a queue about a dozen people deep, stretching along the perimeter fence. Some are shown wading through an open concrete drain, knee-deep in sewage. They've gathered here again despite warnings that the Islamic State group may stage further attacks. Their chance of boarding a flight out is fading by the hour. Many countries, including France, Germany and Australia, have ended evacuations. The United States is one of the few countries still pledging to continue into next week.
And the evacuation flights have resumed with an added sense of urgency as President Biden vows to stick to his end-of-the-month deadline.
The president says the United States will not be intimidated even after attacks in Kabul killed U.S. service members and Afghan civilians.
We will not be deterred by terrorists. We will not let them stop our mission. We will continue the evacuation.
Speaking in the East Room, the president honored the fallen Americans as heroes, and he vowed to avenge their deaths.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
Greg Clugston, the White House.
The Supreme Court has blocked the Biden administration's attempt to reimpose a moratorium on evictions, originally enacted in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Forecasters expect Tropical Storm Ida to slam northern Gulf Coast as a powerful hurricane late this coming weekend. Hurricane watches and storm surge watches have been posted for coastal Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. Wall Street Dow futures up 50 points. NASDAQ futures 38 points higher. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Right now, people are home with their pets more often, and I think especially with the shedding, they're more cognizant of what's going on and that it's an actual issue.
Olive's got some skin issues. He gets really going and scratching.
Excessive shedding, a lot of just scratching and itching.
Jigging, scratching, and itching and biting. On top of that, he was starting to get black buildup in his ears.
DINOVITE.com.
I just heard the Dynovite commercial so many times that I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And I ordered it and tried it, and it worked.
We started Dynovite, and in our first stock, we noticed a difference, especially with the shedding.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
We've got 4 dogs, all different ages, all different sizes, and they've all just responded really well to the Dynovite, and they all love it.
We will be using Dynovite for life.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
We order our Dynovite from Dynovite.com. DINOVITE.com.
Gunmen have released some of the children kidnapped from a school in northern Nigeria back in May, some of whom were as young as 5 years old.
The children were transported in buses from near a forest where they were being held by the abductors to Minna, the Niger State capital, overnight. The school's head teacher told the BBC that the freed students were looking unhealthy, frail, and exhausted. The school authorities and parents had managed to raise thousands of dollars to pay a ransom for the release of the students, selling part of the school's land and family possessions. School officials say a number of motorbikes were also delivered to the gunmen as part of the deal.
The BBC's Ishaq Khalid. Chinese regulators will exercise greater control over the algorithms used by Chinese tech firms to personalize and recommend content, the latest move in a regulation spree involving the internet. News and analysis at townhall.com. When Robert F. Kennedy's assassin goes before a parole hearing later today, the DA will not be there to challenge his potential release.
Sirhan, who was convicted of the 1968 assassination of U.S. Senator and Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy, goes before a two-person panel of the California Parole Board Friday. It will be the 16th parole hearing for Sirhan, but for the first time, no prosecutor will be there to argue for his continued incarceration. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon, who took office last year, is sticking to his policy that prosecutors have no role at parole hearings. The last parole hearing for the 77-year-old Sirhan was in 2016. Commissioners concluded Sirhan did not show adequate remorse or understanding of the enormity of his crime. I'm Mike Rossio.
Looks like Wall Street may be set to bounce back from yesterday's losses. Morning stock futures in positive territory. More on these stories at townhall.com.
As our economy gradually reopens, remember to support local.
Know you're doing the right thing and stay proud.
Be a part of the greatest comeback of all time with Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
My name is Tony Keith of Keith Hardware in Carthage, North Carolina. I'm the third generation of a family-owned business. We've been in business for 83 years. We sell live bait, crickets, minnows, and worms, fishing tackle, nuts and bolts and screws by the piece. You can still come in and get nails weighed out by the pound or ones or twos, however you'd like.
The guys, they know what they're doing. You don't have to ask for service. You tell them what you need. If they ain't got it, usually they can conjure it up.
Keith Hardware has been a tradition in this town for as long as I've been in business, 42 years, and they run a good business and they're good people.
I came in with 2 pieces of plumbing. I handed it to this guy, and he took off the back, picked it up, and brought it back. Their knowledge is invaluable to me.
With Keith Hardware for 28 years. I rent the building from them next door, and Tony and Ginger are doing an excellent job. I'm proud of them.
Come visit Keith Hardware today at 207 Monroe Street in Carthage.
We're just an old-fashioned hardware store.
This is Chuck from Sunbelt Service Pros. Are you just not feeling it anymore with your AC service provider? Are you calling those guys because that's what you've always done, or because there's a sticker on the thermostat with an old phone number on it? How about this? Take a chance and you'll be thrilled to find that you're getting real value for your heating and cooling dollars. When you call Sunbelt Service Pros, you are dealing with a professional and reliable service provider. Our technicians are highly trained and certified and can quickly address any issues. Our customers find our technicians and office staff courteous, friendly, and professional throughout the whole process. We're doing something right here. You need to check us out. Find out what you've been missing and call us today. Sunbelt Service Pros at 910-944-2044 or go online to sunbeltservicepros.com.
Over the past several years, WEEB has been telling you about Seven Lakes Contracting and Asphalt Services. During that time, Sherry and Howard Hoke have experienced a large increase in their business because of their beautiful paved driveways and much more. Seven Lakes Contracting and Asphalt Services offers patching, excavation, and drainage issue solutions, crack filling, seal coating, and striping for both residential and commercial. And now they have added concrete, pouring sidewalks, driveways, curbs, and gutters, pads, as well as pavers. Estimates are free, and they will come to your property to assess your needs. No job is too big or too small. Go online to slcontractingllc.com or the Seven Lakes Contracting and Asphalt Services Facebook page showing photos and customer reviews. So, call 910-673-1318. Active duty military will receive a 10% discount. 910-673-1318.
With so much financial uncertainty, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Troy Pachowski. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, let's work together to ensure you're prepared for the future. After all, retirement isn't the end of the road. It's a new beginning. Call us at 910-295-0307. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Is it style you want, or is it durability, or is it both?
We've got you covered for all your flooring needs with our huge selection of Shaw floors. Looking for carpet, hardwood, or LVP? We've got it all. Have the confidence to do something new and different with Shaw floors. Hurry into Aberdeen Carpet, located at 2314 Highway 5 in Aberdeen, near Habitat for Humanity. Open 9 to 4 Monday through Friday and 9 to 2 on Saturdays. Visit us online at aberdeencarpet.com to check us out. Then come in and browse our huge selection or call us at 910-944-6204 to schedule a free estimate.
NCN News, I'm Tony Rixby. The desperate effort to get out of Afghanistan continues at the Kabul airport, where the BBC's chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, says there are upwards of 14,000 people on the tarmac.
Every direction we look at Kabul International Airport, Afghans and foreigners in straight lines boarding the military transport planes that are all around this tarmac, taking Afghans not just away from their country, but away from the lives that they live, the identity they cherish, leaving everything behind.
North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis says people who the U.S. should be getting out will be left behind next Tuesday.
What's the solution? It's not enough to exit on August the 31st and say we did what we could. There are American citizens, there are green card holders, there are people who have been issued SIV visas, and there are thousands more in the pipeline who deserve to have them and deserve to get evacuated.
A bill legalizing marijuana for medical use in North Carolina and developing a system to grow it and sell it cleared two more legislative hurdles this week in the Senate. Gaston County Republican Senator Kathy Harrington supports the measure.
I believe we've already had some moments in our life where this type of medication would have assisted in some of the responses to the treatment.
The measure could be on the Senate floor next week. The Senate passed a bill yesterday impacting how racism and history are talked about in classrooms. Senate President Pro Tem Phil Berger.
It is definitely needed because you have folks showing up at school board meetings concerned about what may be happening in the classroom.
Not so, says Democratic Senator Gladys Robinson of Guilford County.
What in the world are we doing down here?
You're listening to NCN News.
I got the vaccine to protect myself.
Because COVID-19 is still spreading.
All the patients I take care of with COVID-19 have one thing in common.
They have not gotten their vaccine.
The vaccines were proven safe and effective in clinical trials with thousands of people.
That's why I tell my friends and family to get theirs.
I'll take feeling achy for a day or two over going to the hospital or dying any day.
Don't wait.
Go to myspot.nc.gov
to get your free COVID vaccine.
Sponsored by NCDHHS.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops in 2020 and 2021. Our philosophy is simple. Be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Hurricane watches are posted along the Louisiana and Mississippi Gulf Coast this morning as Tropical Storm Ida moves closer. It's expected to become a major hurricane by the time it makes landfall late Sunday or early Monday. CBS News meteorologist David Parkinson says Ida could be a Category 3 or 4 hurricane by the time it makes landfall and be a storm for the history books.
This is a serious storm headed for New Orleans, making a landfall potentially somewhere in central or eastern Louisiana.
Governor Roy Cooper says more people need to be vaccinated, and he's encouraged that some restaurants in North Carolina, as well as other venues, are now requiring people to show proof of vaccination.
Businesses like this, Pizzeria Mercado, to come in and say it's important to have a vaccine card to be able to come in because we want to protect our customers, our employees, and our community.
The governor visiting that restaurant in Carborough. Carolina Hurricanes forward Andrei Svechnikov says playing for head coach Rod Brindamore is a big reason he signed an 8-year contract extension.
He's a great coach. He's a great guy. And he actually just messaged me a few minutes ago. He said congrats, and I'm very, very happy with him.
Pancakes and beer? Well, it's happening. Here's CBS News correspondent Deborah Rodriguez.
How about a brew with that short stack?
Right about now, we could all use a pancake.
IHOP is giving Bubbles Wines and Brews a test run at locations in San Diego and New Mexico. There are plans to expand boozy offerings to New York, Rhode Island, Maryland, Ohio, and other states. Wines are from Barefoot, beers from Bud Light, Blue Moon, and Corona. The Pancake House says some local restaurants may test local brews and wines as well. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Tony Rixby, NCN News.
Hello, everyone. We made it to a Friday, and for today, we'll see a mostly sunny sky. That abundant sunshine will keep temperatures on the hotter side again today. Highs mainly in the low to mid-90s. Mostly clear sky this evening and overnight tonight. Perfect for football Friday night plans. We'll be in the upper 60s and low 70s Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, expecting another mostly sunny sky, but highs hotter and mainly in the mid-90s. Also in the mid-90s on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Moloch in the Weather Center.
Right now, here in the Sand Hills area, it's foggy, 74 degrees, humidity 92%, dew point 71, solar radiation 167 watts per square meter, pressure is 2994, winds are calm, gusting to 2. It is 8:14. Let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Friday morning. A resident of Woodlake was airlifted to an area trauma center following a crash on Thursday afternoon. Emergency crews were dispatched to River Birch Drive shortly after 1 p.m. A man riding a bicycle was hit by a car in a private community near Bass. According to the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, the bicyclist was traveling in front of a van. The driver of a Toyota Camry behind the van went to pass in a no-passing zone. At the same time, the man on the bike was turning left. First responders said his injuries are not life-threatening, and the driver of the Camry was cited for passing on a double yellow line. More than 900 purple pinwheels will be spinning in Hoke, Moore, Montgomery, Richmond, and Lee counties on August 31st as the Sand Hills Opioid Response Consortium commemorates International Overdose Awareness Day. The event is the world's largest annual campaign to end drug overdose. Remember without stigma those who have died and acknowledge the grief of the family and friends left behind. One purple pinwheel will be displayed for each of the 949 people in the region who suffered a drug overdose in 2020. Hoke County had 142 overdoses, Lee County 201, Moore County with the most at 288 overdoses, Montgomery County 151, and Richmond County 167 overdoses. People suffering from drug addiction or their friends and family can call the Sand Hills Opioid Response Consortium Rapid Response Hotline at 910-469-1499 for support. Taking a look at Moore County High School sports, the 16th ranked team in the state and still undefeated Pinecrest Patriots play their first home game tonight against the 0-1 Bearcats of Anson High School. Game time will be at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, the untested Vikings of Union Pines comes out of quarantine tonight and travel to Western Harnett to take on the 0-1 Eagles. That game is at 7:30. And the 1-0 Mustangs of Northmore High School play their home opener tonight against the 1-0 Vikings of North Stokes High School. Game time is at 7:30. That's your WEEB local news report from the Sand Hills Sentinel. And, of course, you can go online to sandhillsentinel.com for more information. Is 8:17. Sports, the rest of the sports is next right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. The Carolina Hurricanes announced Thursday that the team has come to an agreement with Andrei Svechnikov on an 8-year contract. Team president and GM Don Waddell called Svech one of the team's cornerstones, and they're thrilled to have inked a long-term deal to keep him in Carolina.
We're excited about it, and you know, it's also nice because, you know, our owner Tom Dunnan was very supportive of the deal. Obviously, it's a lot of money, but we all felt it was a very worthy investment.
And that investment will pay Svechnikov an annual salary of $7.75 million on average per season through the 2028-2029 campaign. Round 2 of the BMW Championship getting underway this morning at Caves Valley, the course in rural Baltimore, where the PGA is returned for the first time in nearly 60 years. Not the course, but Baltimore itself. Rory McIlroy holed an eagle putt from just outside 10 feet on the par 15 16th during round 1 on his way to an 8-under 68. Gives him a share of the lead with John Rahm and Sam Burns heading into today's second round. The LA Dodgers continue to own the second best record in Major League Baseball. Unfortunately for them, they're staring at the possibility of playing in the NL wildcard game. San Francisco still leads the NL West by 2.5 games over the Dodgers following the Giants' 3-2 win over the Mets. The Yankees squandered a 6-0 lead before running their winning streak to 12 games last night. Following a 7-6 downing of Oakland, Giancarlo Stanton, Brett Gardner, and Joey Gallo hit home runs, but the Yankees still needed Aaron Judge's RBI single in the 9th to get within 4 games of the AL East leading Tampa Bay Rays, who were idled yesterday. Tennessee Titans' coronavirus outbreak has grown to 9. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill is among 3 players added to the team's COVID-19 reserve list. This is NCN Sports.
America is connected by our roads, bridges, electrical, and telecommunications infrastructure. Investments in these critical systems make our communities, economy, and national security stronger. These systems are vital to our everyday lives and North Carolina's economy. That's why Senators Richard Burr and Tom Tillis voted for legislation that makes critical investments in North Carolina's roads, bridges, and electricity systems. Critical investments in the infrastructure that makes America and North Carolina great. Repairing our roads and bridges, upgrading electrical systems, and increasing access to information systems is good for our families, good for America, and good for our future. Thank you, Senator Burr and Senator Tillis, for voting for a real infrastructure plan that rebuilds America and invests in North Carolina. Thank you for voting to invest in us. Learn more at let'sinvestinus.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions.
In college hoops, Memphis has a little more Carolina blue on its coaching staff. Coach Penny Hardaway has added 16-year NBA veteran Rasheed Wallace as an assistant coach on his staff that also feature former coach Larry Brown. Wallace won the 2004 NBA championship with the Detroit Pistons, where he was coached by Brown. Both played for Coach Smith at Carolina. Senate Republicans in North Carolina have shelved a proposal to end the state's High School Athletic Association oversight of interscholastic sports. They replaced it Thursday with a measure requiring constraints upon the group's finances and transparency in decision-making activities. The legislation that cleared a Senate committee would essentially direct the State Board of Education to enter a written agreement with the nonprofit association by October on how to administer athletics. The NCHSAA still opposes the measure. They said that's too prescriptive. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Thanks for help bringing the economy back. One local purchase at a time.
Kind of uplifts you and you feel better.
It's the greatest comeback of all time. With Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
Aberdeen Prescription Shop is now open to walk in the shop, and the drive-through window and free delivery is still available. All major insurance is accepted, including TRICARE. Order your prescriptions online at AberdeenRxShop.com and click on mobile for the free app, or call 944-1313. Aberdeen Prescription Shop in the Town and Country Shopping Center on US 1. Now open for walk-ins, and wear your mask.
Just what the doctor ordered.
This is Bob Bonneville of Griswold Home Care of Pinehurst. Over the past several years, we have grown substantially. Here's one of the reasons why. Dorothy of Pinehurst wrote, quote, "After Dad died, I talked to Mom about moving to a retirement home, but she wanted to stay in her own home. After calling the office, the meeting with you, Mom, and myself, we all agreed on the care that fit her needs, and it worked out beautifully," end quote. Call me, Bob Bonneville, at 910-420-2360. That's 910-420-2360, or go online to griswoldhomecare.com/Pinehurst.
At Keys Appliance in Aberdeen, a modern customizable kitchen that makes your life easier is more affordable than ever. Because right now till December 31st, you can save up to $2,000 on select cafe appliances via online or mail-in rebate. Not only do cafe appliances look stunning, but with time-saving features like voice-controlled commands, they're designed to make kitchen work much easier. So talk to the kitchen experts at Keys Appliance in Aberdeen and see how cafe appliances save you work and save you money.
At Pool Automotive, being local and family-owned isn't just a title. It's the lifeblood of our business. The moment you walk into our Aberdeen showroom, you'll be treated like family. You see, we believe that all our guests deserve quality, reliable used vehicles, and we have the inventory and finance options to make it happen. When you buy a new vehicle, the second you drive it off the lot, it's already depreciated by thousands. Before you throw that money away, come to Pool Automotive and check out our huge selection of premium vehicles. We have high-quality, off-lease vehicles, most of which are one-owner cars with low mileage and remaining factory warranties. Something else we do to save you even more? We don't charge documentation fees. Yep, you heard us right. No doc fees here. Come in today, 500 South Sandhills Boulevard in Aberdeen, or call 910-637-0057 and experience the pool advantage.
Is it style you want, or is it durability, or is it both? We've got you covered for all your flooring needs with our huge selection of Shaw floors. Looking for carpet, hardwood, or LVP? We've got it all. Have the confidence to do something new and different with Shaw floors. Hurry into Aberdeen Carpet, located at 2314 Highway 5 in Aberdeen, near Habitat for Humanity. Open 9 to 4 Monday through Friday and 9 to 2 on Saturdays. Visit us online at aberdeencarpet.com to check us out. Then come in and browse our huge selection, or call us at 910-944-6204 to schedule a free estimate.
If you're like me, you have to be diligent about watching your weight every single day. Despite how well you watch your weight, the one barrier that's always standing in your way is the belly fat you just can't seem to get rid of. Despite your best efforts, it's always there. Well, now there is a way to get your body to release the fat stored in those belly or thigh fat cells. It's the Ultra Slim Fat Melting Method, a non-invasive, non-surgical body sculpting treatment. This is a light therapy treatment, and the best part is you're guaranteed to lose 2 inches in your waist, hip, or thighs in a 32-minute treatment. I know it works because I've done it. What have you got to lose besides those 2 stubborn inches? Dr. Sharon Wright with Wright Chiropractic in 7 Lakes can give you all the details. Why not set up an appointment by calling her at 673-2225. That's 673-2225, and tell her Steve sent you. And finally say goodbye to your stubborn belly fat.
Hey, you golfers out there. Celeste Bondi here, General Manager, Whispering Woods Golf Club. We are celebrating our 50th anniversary. During the last 6 months, a transformation has taken place thanks to our course superintendent, Randy Hilburn, to revitalize Ellis Maple's stunning vision of a classic design and enjoyable course to play. To celebrate this occasion, during the month of August, our rates will be $28 during the week and $32 on weekends. Come join us in playing the course that Ellis Maples envisioned. When you come in, don't forget to ask about our limited lifetime memberships. We are located at 26 Sandpiper Drive in Whispering Pines. That's 26 Sandpiper Drive, Whispering Pines. Whispering Woods Golf Club. Book it, Dano.
This time of year, it's hard to know whether to put on a coat or short sleeves, not to mention whether to use the heat or AC. But one thing that is predictable is you absolutely need to service your heating and air system to avoid costly repairs or replacements down the road. Call Four Seasons Heating and Air to schedule your service checkup before the summer gets here and it becomes an emergency. Four Seasons Heating and Air, the company that wants you to get comfortable with them. Call 235-0606. That's 235-0606.
Hurricane season has arrived, and it's predicted to be an active one. And with the start of hurricane season, the generator guys at Carolina Power and Generators remind you that while hurricanes and tropical storms are a part of life and responsible for the most severe power outages in recent years, planning and early preparation can make the difference when severe weather strikes. Past hurricane seasons have been active, and experts predict another active season this year with the potential of causing power outages for days. The professionals at Carolina Power and Generators are here to help you prepare and protect your home before the peak of the season. Call us today to schedule your free in-home assessment or ask us about our affordable maintenance plans. Carolina Power and Generators, 910-241-4677, or visit us online at generacnc.com.
This is the perfect time of the year to bust out all your Echo tools and equipment from Beaver Equipment. Thanks to all the storms, my new Echo chainsaw from Beaver Equipment has been getting a good workout. Beaver Equipment is the place to go for rough and rugged Echo equipment for real men. They offer 5-year warranties and are locally owned and operated. So men, get out there and enjoy your Echo Power equipment from Beaver Equipment, Highway 211 in Aberdeen, 910-944-0402.
As our economy gradually reopens, remember to support local.
Know you're doing the right thing and stay proud.
Be a part of the greatest comeback of all time with Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
The Zumwalt Zone is proudly sponsored by Moore County Citizens for Freedom, always looking out for you.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. At this very moment, I feel so bad and so sad for the Marines we lost that I can't think of much else. I think about the sadness of the families of those who died yesterday. While I speak these words and while you listen to them, the loved ones of those killed are in shock, wondering how their lives could have been turned upside down so quickly. We don't know yet how many Americans were horribly wounded. We don't know how many legs and arms were blown off. Their whole life will end and a new one will begin, one of pain and misery for years. While I slept last night, these men and women were still out there following orders. They're out there right now. And any second we could see another attack, and honestly, we most likely will. Like a whole lot of you, I retired from the military, and still I don't hold myself up as some kind of military tactical genius. I've always recognized that I don't always have the big picture, and I know very well that we lose people in combat, but this is different. These deaths are the direct result of the buffoonery of a man who's in charge of the strongest military in the world. He doesn't have enough sense to wipe his blood off his hands. He keeps trying to blame this on Trump. He says Trump signed a deal. Yeah, like the Keystone Pipeline and the border wall. Biden, I don't know how you face America. Democrats, look what you've done. May God bless our American military, and thank you, all my heart, from the Zumwalt Zone.
Good morning, everyone. We made it to a Friday and starting off in the low to mid-70s this morning. This afternoon, expect plenty of sunshine. That mostly sunny sky will heat temperatures right up. Our highs today mainly in the low to mid-90s. Mostly clear sky this evening and overnight tonight. Perfect for football Friday night plans. We'll be back in the upper 60s and low 70s Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, another mostly sunny sky with highs mainly in the mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the LeaderMan. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
In case you didn't know, today is
Friday.
It's Friday?
It's the weekend. Can't we relax on the weekend?
Who's ready to have some fun?
If we decide that this is going to be fun, then this is going to be fun.
Are we going out or aren't we?
I will see all of you in the fun zone.
Yeah, let's get started.
Friends and neighbors.
But guess what? I'm back.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is time once again for Mornings with the LeaderMan. I am Steve Leader Adams, along with the Colonel, retired Marine Colonel Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Colonel.
Hey, good morning, Moore County. Time to breathe in the fresh air of truth and freedom here at WEEB, the only place that it's available here in Moore County. Not a day for apple fritters, but get yourself a large pot of coffee and pull up to the kitchen table and listen up.
All right. Don't forget, of course, we are being heard and seen around the world on our live video stream. That's up and running at talk973.com or talk1041.com or WEEB990.com. Top middle of the page is where the link is located on your mobile device. You can fire up YouTube and put Mornings with the LeaderMan in there for the video. LeaderMan, one word and spelled like it sounds. And if you're just looking at our audio stream by itself, you can get that too. On your mobile device, you can fire up a streaming app such as TuneIn, iTunes, or Streama and put WEEB in the search. Or the simple way is to go to our website. Upper right-hand corner of every one of our pages has an icon that says On the Air, Listen Live. Click it once, and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sandhills going to be pretty much carbon copy day after day after day. Mostly sunny, hot, humid, high of 92. Tonight, 71. Tomorrow, 94. 95 Sunday. And we just stay in the mid-90s during the day and about 70 at night until we get to Wednesday. Then we'll see some partly cloudy skies, maybe an isolated shower. Again, a high of a muggy 90. Right now around the Sandhills, winds are calm, gusting to 2. Pressure is 2994. Solar radiation up to 239 watts per square meter. Dew point 72, humidity 93%. It is sunny and 74 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right. It is 8:36, 36 past the hour. This is, of course, Mornings with the LeaderMan, and time now for our Friday roundtable. Joining us is David Hensley and John Zumwalk, along with the Colonel and myself. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. You got Batman here.
David's had a little work done on his vocal cords, and
you know, I didn't have a face for television, so I came to radio.
Yeah.
And now I don't have a voice for radio either, but here I am.
Well, let's give you some commercials to do. You can talk that macho voice.
Probably the only guy in America that could make me sound like I belong on the radio, but it'll get better. What does it take, like 2 or 3 days, David, a week?
No, generally it takes 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks?
It takes generally between 2 weeks. Generally takes about 2 weeks, sometimes as long as 5 weeks for it to return to normal.
Well, Colonel kind of alluded to it. It's not really a day for apple fritters. It's not a day when everybody's just jumping for joy and bubbling around. It's a tragic day. It's a day when we all have a dark gloom hanging over our heads, and just it's hard to know what to say. You know, I want to criticize the president. I'd like to sit here all day long, 24 hours a day, for as long as I could, and just talk ill of him. But right now, I guess it's probably not the time to do that. I do want to talk a minute about the school bus accident that happened this morning, and I didn't really know much about it. I read about it on social media, so it's not like I'm surprising any parents or saying anything that I shouldn't be saying. But apparently there was a school bus that got T-boned. I have no details, except that I want to say this. Once again, when that school was built, there were so many things wrong with that location, and we pointed them out and we kept bringing them up. Everything from being in an industrial area to being on a pesticide dump for 6 decades to being in a terrible place where the traffic would be just awful. And we went by the DPI list, and we kept trying to point these things out. And David has mentioned this morning, he may mention it again, that part of the one big problem we have with being in Afghanistan right now, the mess we're in, the mess that the man who sits in the chair of the president has gotten us into, is that the media wouldn't report these things. Well, you know what? We were in the same exact boat with a pilot on local school issues, and David pointed that out as well. We couldn't get the pilot to print any of these things, to print the DPI recommendations and how they were 180 degrees out from what we needed and what we expected for a school site location. That there was no way for this information to get to you. It got to you in our radio audience, but we don't cover everybody. Not everybody in this county gets the information that we give. So, just another reason that I'm so grateful that we can be involved with this station and the time that Steve Adams gives and the actual investigative reporting that goes on here, as opposed to the pathetic pilot who just flat will not print anything negative about the schools, no matter how truthful they may be, no matter how much you need to hear them. And you know what? You might be saying to yourself, well, they're glad. They're almost gleefully reporting on this bus wreck. No, we're not. Shame on you, and there's no way. This is an awful thing. Nobody ever wants a child to be hurt for any reason. And I fear that if we don't do something, there's going to be more and more. There's I'm the last guy probably in the world you would ever expect to be quoting an old Chinese proverb, but I have one for you. When is the best time to plant an oak tree? And the answer is 10 years ago. And then when's the second best time? The answer is today. So we didn't take care of this when we should have years ago. But we can take care of it today. I don't know what all we can do. David mentioned putting in, someone else did I talked to this morning, mentioned putting in lights, warning lights, slowing the speed limit down, things like that, maybe putting some police officers out there as if they're not stretched thin enough as it is, and doing something about this. But this kind of, you know what, poor leadership cannot be allowed to stand. We saw what happens when it stands nationally and on the world stage, and now we are trying to point out more and more and more what happens when it's allowed to stand here. We cannot let it do that. People get hurt, people get killed, and it's just it's a shame. It's got to stop.
You know, if I could expand on that, the analogy between the school bus wreck this morning, or what's been reported as a school bus wreck, I haven't gotten an official word, and what's going on in Afghanistan, it's striking. And let me draw the parallels. The first thing is, let's talk about the media. Had the media not constantly attacked Donald Trump, and never reported any good things that he did, and had the media not constantly pumped up Joe Biden and completely ignored the fact that he didn't come out of his basement during the election, Joe Biden wouldn't have been president, and those Marines would still be alive. Same thing with this school site on Route 5. As JD said, there were many concerns about it. One is, it was a poor site. The road wasn't adequate enough. I said at this microphone and said, the partners in progress, the town of Aberdeen, the pilot said that the local travel team couldn't have a volleyball complex in the old carpet plant because the road was inadequate. I stood at this microphone and pointed out that those entities said that road couldn't handle the traffic for occasional volleyball tournaments in the winter during low tourist season. How in the hell do they think that road can support an 800-seat school? But the pilot ignored that. So the pilot is partially to blame for those wrecks. By the way, I've heard there's been 5 wrecks at that intersection of the school this week. 5 wrecks.
I have to get the police reports on those.
We need to do a FOIA request to the Aberdeen police. But it goes beyond that. It goes to focus. Here's the second analogy. Earlier this week, parents whose children attend Aberdeen Elementary had requested the city council and went to the chief of police in Aberdeen and have been requesting all week for a police officer to be out there directing traffic like it's common at all schools, and they were given the runaround and told no. Well, that's the same town of Aberdeen who voted to give $300 to people who got 16 hours off to all city employees who got the vaccine. What's their focus? Is the focus of the mayor of Aberdeen leftist crap, woke stuff, or is it protecting our children? Same thing with the military. The Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff are too worried about getting funding to pay for transgender surgeries in the military. They're too busy. Miley himself has said he wants critical race theory taught throughout the entire chain of command. The leadership of the military, just like the leadership of the town of Aberdeen, are too busy focusing on BS than they are on what they should be doing. And finally, accountability. I want accountability for this, but we have a lack of accountability. You know, we can't even hold an elementary school principal accountable for her actions in this county. Why do we think that the mayor and the chief of police of Aberdeen are going to be held accountable for telling these parents no? And I tell you, in this Afghanistan, everybody from the battalion commander all the way up to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff should be relieved. I saw a picture taken a few days ago in Afghanistan. I posted this on my Facebook page of a squad of Marines standing on a wall at the Kabul airport, surrounded by thousands and thousands of unscreened Afghans. Ray Charles could have seen a bombing coming. Everybody in the chain of command should be relieved, just like the chief of police in Aberdeen should be relieved, just like we should not have renewed. And in fact, I voted against renewing the contract of one of our elementary school principals who was arrested and convicted of DWI. It's all about focus, accountability, and the role of the media.
Yeah. Well, you know, I see this pretty much the same you do, David, as you do, David, but a little different angle. I'm not so quick to point the finger at the Aberdeen chief of police as I am to point it at Chief Fry, who is the chief of the resource officers. You may recall that the last school board meeting, Chief Fry was plenty adamant about having his officers, his people there who had guns, to stand up and tell us, anyone who was applauding, that they would have to leave. And he was directed to do so by Libby Carter, who's the chairperson. Libby Carter was on that board, David, before you got there. You were speaking out against that school, and you were not on the board, and she was adamantly pushing for that school. She failed to plan ahead. She did not get if the SROs, who I've got nothing against, I do have something against Chief Fry, if the SROs would get out there in the morning and direct that traffic and take the responsibility, if Libby Carter would take the responsibility that she should and direct them to do so, which apparently she can do that because Chief Fry announced to us that he takes his orders from the board, then that wouldn't have happened. The whole idea of this legacy school board that you joined, and the three of you joined and are trying to straighten out, and if you listen to me, I know Ed Dennison, wake up Ed, I know that Ed listens, and I'm always glad to have him on here, but and Ed, by the way, you're invited on. If you can't get up at 8:30, we'll tape it. What's that, Steve?
I said we'll tape it.
We'll tape it if we have to, whatever. But I noticed that Ed's on Facebook again this morning. He's doing what he always does, and he's got a picture of himself with the volleyball players and the volleyball team. Lord love them, they're doing a wonderful job. I couldn't be happier. I know David's daughters played last year. Don't turn this in to a thing that Zumwalt hates volleyball play. It's ridiculous. But Ed, you've got to do something besides hang around with young athletes and get your picture taken. You've got to start standing up and speaking out.
I'd like to say something on that. My daughter was on the last year's Pinecrest volleyball game. I went to every single Pinecrest girls volleyball game. I not once felt the need to post a picture of Dave Hensley, school board member, attending the game.
Well, and you know what? That's of course that's what Ed's known for, and that's why people love him. They see this old guy about my age, might even be a little younger, but he's this old fellow who makes his way out to the court or the team, and he has his picture surrounded by these kids, and that's good, and people like that. But Ed, it's about time you did your job. David, I want to bring up something that you and Bob brought up very recently, and that's this. We've got a school board, we've got a superintendent of schools. And since I've been here, I would love anyone in the audience to correct me. Since I've been here, I don't remember one time. I remember him asking for more money. I remember him pushing for school sites. I remember him wanting certain schools. I remember him defending the land where the Aberdeen school was built on and telling us that 6 decades of dumping waste didn't matter. I remember him going and telling us why SFLA Architects and that shady of all shady looking deals was okay. But I do not remember him appearing before the school board one time, or before us, or coming on this radio station, or even reporting in the pilot, not one time, about why we have such low performing schools. I don't remember him or Ed speaking out when Ed brags about the fact that we have such a high graduation rate. I don't remember Ed or the superintendent saying, but you need to know this, they cannot read the standard. They cannot meet the standards for reading. You know what? I don't know what people look at when they hire a superintendent of schools. I'll tell you what I would look at. I would look at the following. Can this guy educate our children? I don't give a hoot if this guy knows a lot about building schools, if he knows about a lot about all these other things. What I want to see is a guy who knows how to educate our children. And so if we can't find someone who can bring our kids up to standard, we should have fired him a long time ago. They tried to once, and it was turned over, and we were upset with the old school board for extending his contract. The man has not educated our children, and it just doesn't make sense to me how he can get away with it for so long. And I'll just keep talking. There's something I can do.
Oh, were you pausing? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was that an actual breath we witnessed?
Okay.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. The one critical measure of anything for a school system is, can the kids get out and function in society? And no, apparently not. Our children here in Moore County don't read up to level. They can't write and do math up to expectation. But hey, don't worry about it. We graduated, what'd they say, 98% or whatever. So we're a success.
Have to call Ed and ask what our graduation rate is.
Yeah, Ed. Well, Ed, I'm sure somebody will be writing that up for him so he can read it at the next meeting. But the one measure of effectiveness is how well do these kids read, write, and do arithmetic? And believe it or not, a little arithmetic is important in life. And they're not up to snuff. So maybe somebody ought to start looking at that. And Bob Levy was here yesterday, and that was one of his points was, hey, we thought we were past all these things, on buildings and selling properties, et cetera, et cetera. So now that we can focus on what the school board should really be focused on, which is educating our children. And now we have to revisit a couple of things potentially. But hey, let's get to it. Ed, we know you can read. You actually read a little bit better than the clown I saw on television last night trying to read from a transcript. But, but that's it. You're just reading. I'm not sure you really understand what you're reading.
One thing here, I've got a little information on this bus wreck there in front of Aberdeen Elementary, and it was a minor wreck with a bus. Bus number 86 was the one that got hit, but no ambulance are there, so it must be just a fender bender here.
Well, you know what? While you were saying that, Steve, it made me think. We've got these precious little kids, and I don't know of any other word you can use for a little child other than precious. They don't have any way of taking care of themselves. If their parent says to them, you get on this bus and you go to school, or if their parent says to them, you go to school at this school because you'll be safe, they've got to depend on that. We have a tremendous obligation to take care of that child who cannot take care of themselves. Every parent has got an obligation to make certain that they take care of their child, and that obligation, they trust that obligation to be passed on to the school board and to the teachers and to the and we've got at least 3 that take that very seriously. And I don't mean to imply, because as much as a horrible job I think the old school board does, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they don't love children. That is ludicrous. But I do think that they are not by far not taking the right track, and they should be replaced. But think about this: the schools that we had that were failing, David. You may have to jump in here and help me. But we've someone got a contract. Something you'll have to remind me about. The superintendent got us some kind of a deal where people come in from the outside, and they help bring these schools not even up to par, but just maybe a little bit less failing. And we, do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's a lot of initiatives that started before the last election, that after the election, and me and Levy and Philip Holmes got elected, that those initiatives ended. The Youth Risk Behavior Survey is one of them, and initiatives like bringing in, I forgot the name of that group, that group. A lot of those things died because the people spoke, and the central office saw the writing on the wall. So the most egregious things that they knew they couldn't justify to the new board and the newly awakened public, they just dropped. And again, I can't remember the name of that group. But the other thing is, if you remember correctly, the previous school board, every school board meeting, what are they doing in Wake County? What are they doing in Wake County? When they did our redistricting, they brought in consultants from Wake County. The last school board, everything they did, they looked to Wake County. Well, if you look at Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson's report on all this crap happening in the schools, he had that task force. 20% of the complaints about critical race theory and other nonsense happening in our schools, 20% of the complaints came from, wait for it, Wake County. And Wake County is the model that the previous school board was using to transform Moore County schools.
How about Moore County as the model? How about us? How about we figure out what we need to do here?
Well, there are other counties. Well, think about that. First of all, Wake County is less than 1% of the school districts in the North Carolina, but they get 20% of the complaints. But there are other counties that look like us that, Irondale, Wilkes County, Caldwell County. There are other counties that value-wise look like us, mixture of rural and urban. There are other counties that share our values. We ought to be talking to those counties, not some far left, woke, 20% of the complaints in North Carolina County.
Well, what I was looking for, a couple of people have texted it in, was the Innovation Project. And what I wanted to say about that was this: if the superintendent tells us we need to get the Innovation Project involved in this, and we can explain that another time, because we can't do this ourselves. We've got to call in outside people who will then tell us how to do it, and we'll take charge of it, and maybe they can bring it up. I would say this to the superintendent: we don't need you. I could have hired the Innovation Project and just left you at home, wherever that was originally.
Exactly.
We need people who can come here and educate, and not, when they fail to educate, then tell us, oh, well, that's okay because I'm going to hire this outside agency. It makes no sense. We need people who know how to educate.
Yeah, we have all these doctors, PhDs get up there and they're all briefing you, but then you got to turn around and hire some outside source to come do the work that we should be doing for ourselves.
By the way, we love teachers. Don't let any of this be used against us, our love of teachers.
All right, so it goes for this Friday and this week. Thanks, guys, for coming in. In the meantime, be sure to support the mom and pop businesses you hear on WEEB. They're local, they support us, they're critical to our local economy. So give them first crack at your spending dollars, and be sure to tell them WEEB asked you to come. That will help us. And don't forget also that millions of Americans have fought and they have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and the Leader Man and Nick and Colt the Dog will all see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the sweltering dog park.